Alright, I'm finally able to record another video. My back was pretty messed up for a couple months there, but finally back to squatting, doing Olympic lifts, and some deadlifting too, so I can kind of talk through my last 2 weeks of training here. On this kind of first day back of squatting, just hit a front squat double at 308 and then back down to 264 as my second set, and I think that was it on this day. So 308 for 2, 264 for 4, and then I hit some snatches the following day. I don't know how it happened, but I hit a block snatch PR of 100 kilos, 220 pounds. Not really sure where that came from. I'm not going to read too much into it, but I'll take it for sure. So went 85 kilo, 185 pounds, 90 kilo, 200-ish pound, and then right here, 100 kilo, 220. Best snatch ever is 231, so 105 kilo off the floor. And I think I'll be able to work that block snatch up a little bit. So I hit some bench right afterwards, had to take it a little bit easy on the shoulders, so just 125, 275 for 2. That's something that I've done for 4 lately, and I really want to get up to a set of 5, but I wasn't trying to push it too crazy heavy on this day. Back down to 120 for, I believe, 4, still paused. Just going for a little more volume on that back down. And then on this training day after this, I hit some reverse lunge and some overhead press. So this was a really big training day. I like to have at least one day in my training week like this, and then usually on my other 2 main training days, I'll have probably some cardio or some just dumbbell bodybuilding afterwards. Usually I'm in the gym lately 3 to 4 days a week. Sometimes it's as low as 2, maybe even 1. It's rare I'm ever in 5 days, just because work schedule and stuff, or maybe I don't feel like going on a particular day. I was going to go today, but I'm kind of sick, so I'm taking the day off. But yeah, with reverse lunge, I try to mind my adductor as much as possible because I have injured it doing them before. So just a set of 6 here at 225, and then I did another set of 5 reps afterwards. I think these contributed pretty well to when my squat was in pretty good shape in the middle of the spring. So just trying to throw them back in as kind of a not so demanding quad exercise. Glute definitely gets some good involvement there too. And obviously the adductor. So I hit some overhead press right after. Overhead press strength is pretty abysmal right now. Probably going to start to do these off of pins just because I don't want the added wear and tear on the front rack. I wouldn't even really consider like overhead press front rack as the same as jerk or like front squat or clean or anything like that, because you have to have so much more of the bar in your palm. But yeah, it's just not really something that feels great. So the following day I hit some RDL at 308, just 2 sets of 5. This was my first deliberate set of hinge in a really long time, so I'll take that. Just hit some rows afterwards. As long as I've done a heavy chin each week, I'll just throw rows in towards the end as another kind of like secondary upper body pull. I guess I didn't record the chins that I had done earlier that week, but as long as I have a heavy chin knocked out first, then I'll throw some rows in after. So this was 100-pound dumbbell for, I believe, 9 on each side. I think I only did 2 sets because I knocked out a couple sets of chins earlier in the week, so I didn't feel like I had to do a ton of work overall on these. Just kind of got them done. So this was the final day of the first training week, and then this is the first day of the second training week that I'll be going over in this video. So this was the first day that I had put a bar on my back really in any form in a long time, and I just hit a density set at 10 minutes on the SSB squat at 300 pounds. So this bar is 58 pounds, so it's a little bit tricky to kind of tell exactly what I have on there, but I'm pretty sure I got it right. I hit a set of 6 on the first set, 2 sets of 5 after that, and a set of 4. So 20 total reps in 10 minutes. I'll definitely take it. I was a little bit juiced up, I guess, because I hadn't squatted like this in so long, and it finally felt good, so just try to take advantage of it. Just squatting in the running shoes, the trail shoes, whatever, with a belt on, so that felt pretty nice. Hit some chins right afterwards. Only had time for a 3x3 with a 60-pound dumbbell, and I did a little bit less weight for more reps later on in the training week. Hit some sumo deadlift. Allowed myself to go a little bit heavy, just to kind of see where it was at, so I can gauge density sets, giant sets, just overall top sets and everything, kind of gauge them off of this moving forward. So I went, after some warm-ups, went 200, 220, and then 500 pounds, so 440, 484, 500. All these felt pretty okay, kind of slow off the floor as they got heavier, but all the lockouts were pretty fast. As my deadlift gets in better shape, that tends to start to reverse. I'm not really sure why that is, but if that starts to happen as it gets in better shape in the future, then I'll kind of adjust my accessories and like auxiliary variants of the lifts as needed, so that way I'm spending more time in positions that are a little bit weaker. I'll kind of approach bench in the same way. My lockout tends to get pretty slow as my bench gets in better shape, so I might have to work towards some like dead presses or pin presses or something like that. But yeah, 500, not the worst starting point. I'm not entirely disappointed in that. So 500 is something that I've done for 4 on sumo deadlift, so hopefully I'll be able to make that feel a little lighter in the next coming weeks. But I hit some Larson bench. This is 253 pounds, so 115 kilo. These are all paws with regular grip. A lot of the times I'll do a touch and go with close grip on Larson, but on this particular day I didn't do that. Those felt fine. I don't find a huge difference in my bench with Larson, but that's probably because I don't get a lot out of my leg drive and back arch, so that's something I got to work on technically. And then these are those chins I was talking about, so I went back down to 55 pounds for 2 sets of 4 and 2 sets of 3. So a little more volume overall than that previous week. I'm not going to complain about this guy a whole lot. There's a lot of things I could say, but there was a lot of room for him to do what he was doing, and I'm just not going to do jerks with somebody in like breath smelling distance, so I waited for him to be done. He definitely acted like I was a problem the whole time, but whatever. I'm not in his way, he's in mine, it's whatever. So I need to do a better job at setting up something where jerks are a little easier to execute in this gym. I probably need to take those little blocks and put them on top of these in some fashion, so I don't have to do this like quasi-dead front squat before I'm doing them. But this was power jerk plus split jerk. Pretty abysmal power jerk right there. Really poor fixation. The timing is definitely off with my elbows and feet. And a split jerk after that wasn't a whole lot better. So just 110 kilo, 242. I believe there might be some pound plates mixed in there, so it might have been a little more than 242, but not a horrific starting point for jerks. I'll take it, but I gotta make those look a lot better technically. Did some pause back squat at 352, 160 kilo for a set of 3. I'll take that. I was a little more grindy on that than I probably should have allowed myself to be, so just something to keep in mind. I might repeat that the next time I come back around to it and try to make it move a little bit better. And then hit the same rep scheme with the same load on the reverse lunge that I did it previously in the week, just because my quads were a lot more beat up. In between that top set of 3 on the pause back squat at 352, I did a pause set of 7 at 308, which I did not record. But yeah, my quads are pretty beat up from that, so I took it a little bit easier on them and just repeated that same reverse lunge rep scheme 6-5 at 225. So that's pretty much everything I got. Hopefully I'll be able to do another one of these videos in the near future. Thanks for watching. See ya.